Good morning, good evening, and good night, and welcome to the first episode of the NN Podcast. I'm your host. You can call me Ninja. I'll be guiding you through the next hour and a bit of the very first episode of the Nympho Ninja Podcast. You'll probably be hearing me say that a lot. I've filmed this episode in 3 or 4 different times, and I'll be piecing it together for you. And today, right now, I figured the best place to start the podcast would be in my bed, where most of the stories, most of the history, most of the inspiration for my blog has taken place. The first episode of the NN Podcast is brought to you by the nnshop.bigcartel.com, which is the only place where you can buy the official Nympho Ninja bracelet. Be a part of the club. You can show it off secretly. Some people will know what it means, some people won't, and you can feel free to explain to anybody else what it means if you want to talk about Nympho Ninjas or give them an alternate identity to what NN stands for. My favorite explanation is Ninja Nation. I think that's a good way to explain someone without having the sexual vibes. If you want to avoid that sometimes, I know it might always not be an ideal location to be speaking about your sexuality if somebody notices your bracelet. But an ideal situation is, you'll wear your black belt, you'll go to the bar, you'll go to the park, you'll go for a walk, you'll be at the airport, you'll be grocery shopping, you'll be doing whatever you do in your day, and perhaps someone will see it, and they'll give you a smile, they'll give you a wink, and maybe they'll have one too, and you guys can chat and get to know each other, and who knows what could happen after that. But you'll know that you each you've got great taste in porn. You've got great taste in intimacy. You'll understand sexuality, and you know about Nympho Ninjas, and you know the things I've said and the things I preach, and all of that good stuff. So nnshop.bigcartel.com is the place to go to order your black belt. I've got a few apologies to get through. Listening through the other parts of the podcast, I've realized the errors I've made. I know in the interview later, I say right a lot without thinking, kind of like getting the conversation going, but it bothered me when I was listening to it, and hopefully it won't bother any of you. But again, this is my first podcast. That was my first interview. I imagine I'll be getting better as it goes. And also apologizing for any sort of background sounds. I'm not in a studio. Right now I'm on my bed. Later on I will be interviewing Cam Damage on Toronto Island, and the episode will end on my roof while I read a story. And now I'd like to explain the history of Nympho Ninjas. I assume anyone listening to this, you're interested. Some of you may have been around since the blog started. Some of you may be new. We just reached 45,000 followers the other day. So, I never know how long people have been around, or if people paid attention before they followed, or what the history of each follower is. So anybody new who doesn't know, or anybody who would like to hear the history of Nympho Ninjas spoken, this is basically how it came to be. In 2009, I was living with my girlfriend at the time. We were both photographers, and, we couldn't resist taking photos of our sex life. 2 beautiful people having incredible sex. And of course, I had my mirror beside my bed. And we would always be watching. And one day just decided to document it. And both of us being fans of pornography, we found some early Tumblr blogs to submit photos to. I believe the first one was Chagrin. And we also submitted to Library Vixen. And it kind of just took off from there. We got great responses, and then eventually we decided to start our own blog. We decided on Nympho Ninjas because we wanted to keep our identities secret, hence the ninjas, but we felt like we were both sex addicts and in love so much, with having sex, and so motivated about it that the Nympho fit perfectly. Of course, later on I did some research and realizing that Nympho is mainly used for a female sex addict. But luckily, I guess most of my followers are females, so it fits for them. But I think it can be used in the broader sense of the word as well, for anybody who, has that craving, that urge, that, has sex on their mind all the time. And to do it secretly is the best part. You don't need to be outwardly sexual to still be a sexual being. You can keep it in the privacy of your partner and you. So after we started the blog, followers slowly began to gather. I think we had about 800, only 800 when we initially broke up. And then I took some time away from the blog and I didn't know what to do, and I took a lot of pride in contributing to Tumblr and not just sharing or reblogging photos. I was really happy that we were able to add some beautiful images for other people's blogs to use. So after I took some time away and really thought about it, I realized that, as a single guy, I couldn't really contribute the same kind of photos I had as a couple. So I began to reblog other photos, and luckily the followers that we had previously were very nice, very sweet to me, and some of the girls would send me photos saying, Ninja, cheer up, I'm sure things will be fine. Here's a sexy shot. And eventually I built enough collection of these that I was able to start releasing them and sharing them with the Tumblr world, and I did it on Sunday, and Submission Sunday was started. I guess before Submission Sunday, I began writing advice. Girls would come to me asking questions about their relationships, about their boyfriends, about their bodies, about their kinks, about their desires, and I'd share my opinion and my experience about those questions. And the same with guys. They'd come to me asking for advice about their girls, asking for advice about their relationships, about their bodies, about, what's normal. And from my experience, I was able to help out. And that was 2009, now 2013, 4 years later. As I mentioned earlier, we reached 45,000. Submission Sunday has become a non-stop staple, something that I don't need to ask for, I don't need to promote. It just happens. I get 100 photos in my inbox every week, and I get to go through and choose the ones I like the best and the ones that fit the best on my blog. It's not about, it's not about the bodies, it's not about the nudity, it's not about the sex, it's not about the penetration, it's about the photograph. I want to see a beautiful moment, I want to see intimacy, I want to see somebody put thought and effort into a photo, and that's what I really love about the submissions. And I just never fail to be impressed. I really can't get over how many incredible photos I've been lucky enough to receive and get to share and contribute to Tumblr. So I guess this is a great time to say thank you to anyone who's ever submitted, especially if you've made it to the best of NN category, or if you've made it to the top 10 or 12 of the year. In the past 3 years, I've done that. Just for anyone who tries, anyone who puts in that effort, anyone who puts in the extra thought of, really thinking about the lighting or setting up a backdrop or what your pose is going to be, or following through with a dream submission. All that stuff really warms my heart. I decided to start a podcast because I feel like there is a lack of opinions about sex from the straight, open-minded male. I've listened to a couple other podcasts, and I read a lot of sex journalism, and a lot of it is from the female perspective, or of course from Dan Savage, the gay male perspective. And there are some other podcasts that have guys on them, but I didn't really feel like they had the kind of level-headed, open mind that I can provide for people. So I wanted to start my own podcast where, I can interview the people that I'm interested in, talk about the sex that I like to have, that, I'm encouraging other people to have. And also I had many messages from followers asking to hear my voice. And I didn't want to just do a random audio of me saying, hey, I don't know what to say, I'm not sure what to say. So I thought by making it a podcast, we can add another part to the Ninja Nation, to nymphoninjas.net, something else to check on every Sunday. I don't know how frequent the podcast will be. I'd like to do 2 a month. Maybe it'll be more than that. Maybe it'll be less. I'm not quite sure. But this is the first one, and thank you for listening. Now, I'm very excited for this next part for you all to hear. Last week, I had a visit from my favorite model of all of Tumblr, and since I don't really give a shit about the rest of pop culture, she's actually my favorite model in the whole world. Cam Damage, who I've been a huge fan of for a couple of years. I remember the first time I posted the link to my like section on Tumblr. The write-up was something about finally found out how to review all of my likes and realized that it's basically a collection of Cam Damage and cat photos. So it was a complete honor to have her come visit and also to stay at my house. So we got to spend some really sweet time, her and her boyfriend Brad, and we got to spend a day together. And I took them to my favorite place in Toronto. I took them up to the island, and we found a nice little secluded private beach area and spent the day just lounging around in the sun. And then luckily had some time to do a little photo shoot, which I'm sure many of you have seen. I've been releasing photos throughout the week of that. And hopefully there'll be another one. It was a great time. I feel like I've made 2 new friends, and I'm sure we'll work together again. So with that, I think I introduced the interview as well, but this is it for the intro. Next up, you'll have me speaking with Cam and Brad on the island.
So we are live right now on Toronto Island, just a bit after the nude beach on Hanlon's Point, and we're doing the very first Nympho Ninjas interview. My guests for our first podcast I'm very excited to have, I'm very honored to have, I'm very pleased to have visiting Toronto here on the island, Cam, Damage, and Brad.
What's up?
What's up?
So tell us about your journey to get to Toronto. How was your trip?
It was really nice and easy because Canada's awesome.
Yeah. We got through the border at like 1 a.m, and no one even looked at our. They looked at our passports,
but they barely. It was
I
barely
could
a
have been
glance.
someone else.
Yeah, Brad could have been a woman.
The guy did not look at me.
Yeah, at all.
And what were you guys expecting?
Honestly, I was kind of expecting like a round of drug dogs around the car or something, or like them to like look in our.
Everyone says that's on the way back.
Or like to look in the trunk, you know,
so
like
when we go back to America, that's
just
what we look forward to.
And is this your first time into Canada?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, sweet. So I guess, general question, your first impressions of the differences in Canada and America.
In general.
Yeah.
Well, the only con, honestly, is that stuff is more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never complain
about
here.
I
will never complain about how cheap gas is or how expensive gas is in America.
Gas and food are two
cheap as shit.
Much higher expenses here than they are in the U.S. Like even just getting fast food here, like we went to McDonald's here or something. But it was like almost $20, I think.
It was a lot.
Yeah, where in the U.S. it would have been like 12 or something. So like I don't know. That's literally the only complaint. Everything else, like the cities are cleaner.
People are nicer.
Breathe easier.
Fat people.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the island right now? Where Cam is sunbathing her beautiful ass.
Naked. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know anywhere where I could go like within.
Yeah, we can't do this in America.
No, you can't even do it unless you go to San Francisco, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Or there may be like a nude beach in New York State, but who wants to go there?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a whole different world up here.
And Lake Ontario is very pretty.
Yeah, it really is. Quite.
So it's great to hear about how you actually got here into Toronto, but tell us a little bit about how you actually got here in your career, starting to travel with your modeling as your job.
Started like almost 3 years ago now, like 2.5. Yeah, it's definitely been 3 years. I feel like 2010 was when I started. Essentially, I never thought that I would be like a real model, but once I got on Tumblr, I discovered the whole traveling model subculture and world. And, like, I had no idea about any of that before, like, we got on Tumblr or whatever, which was, like, 3 years ago. And I, like, realized that I kind of fit in there, honestly, like, more than anywhere else in the whole modeling grand scheme of things. So I pursued it by just emailing people whose work stood out to me, and they all reacted favorably and shot me.
Do you remember who those like early Tumblr photographers or models were that kind of showed you that was the path to choose?
I think Nettie Harris was one of the first models that I saw, and I was just like, whoa, like, because it was a totally different, it was like a total departure from the models you see like on TV and in magazines and stuff, because it's like this girl with 5 feet of hair and then a huge bush and pit hair and stuff. So I was just like, oh. And then from her, I found like Chip Willis, who was one of my earlier shoots. And then Fox Harvard contacted me and Jay Caldwell, or I contacted Jay, I think. But those are like my 3 like early, to me, like big ones.
Do you feel like it's been a smooth ride, or has it been a bumpy ride?
It's definitely been bumpy a little bit.
It's been pretty smooth.
Well, I feel like I have times of like doubt, which are very short.
They're short, yeah.
Yeah, but they'll be like a day or two when I'm like, well, I'm not going anywhere. Like, what am I even doing? But this trip is actually...
That's like... Yeah, that can be said about anybody.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's like anything they do.
Everyone has a mini existential crisis once in a while.
Yeah.
I feel just so we should establish Brad in the relationship. Brad, you've been around the whole time Cam has been modeling.
Yeah.
You've known her since high school.
Yeah, since before any of it. Like, he basically watched me go from, like, being a cam girl to whatever you would call me now.
And you've always been able to be supportive and understanding.
Yeah.
Like, totally, yeah.
I've
Even when I was a cam girl, there was, like, no problem at all. He would go to work, like, he was a delivery driver, and I would go to work, too, and whatever.
I gotta make money.
I mean, it was great. I made bank being a cam girl. Shit. Like, yeah.
I could get paid $100 to take my clothes off.
An hour, yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah, right. Who wouldn't? So then back on so you finally join Tumblr, and then your modeling career starts taking off.
Yeah.
And then when does the traveling begin?
I feel like that was pretty immediately, because in, like, January of 2011 was our first big trip.
Then we went out to, like, California
yeah.
Portland.
And that was literally the first big trip I ever planned. By big trip, I mean where you go to a destination and have multiple shoots a day for several days in a row. And most, like, traveling models would do, like, 3, just to, like, maximize on time and stuff. But I think I did, like, 2, maybe 3 a day.
So where have you been? Where have you traveled for your modeling so far?
Like, all, like, LA, San Francisco, Portland,
Austin.
Yeah, like, up towards, like,
Florida.
Massachusetts and stuff. Yeah, down to Florida.
Pretty much everywhere.
Well, and when I say
Midwest.
like up to Massachusetts, and when I say down to Florida, it encompasses the states that get you there too.
Because you guys drive
you'll stop on the
when
way.
you travel
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, like always driving, except to California. Did not drive there.
And this is because you don't like flying.
Yeah, I hate flying. So like I will drive as much as possible, but also it makes sense with this job to
plan trips,
drive a certain way. Yeah, where you can hit like major cities. Like recently, I went to Columbus, Ohio, then down to Indiana, then to Nashville, Tennessee, then to Louisville, Kentucky, Birmingham, Alabama, and then ended up in New Orleans.
Wow.
So like hit every city, shoot with like a few people.
Yeah, you just like do a day or two in a city, then you move on.
Yeah.
It's a lot of driving.
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because you guys share the driving equally.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are just the chauffeur a little bit. But that's kind of your job in that when we go on trips.
That's like I get off my normal job to go drive around.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
No, for sure. And do you have any like goals of places you want to go? And sorry, we've got an airplane flying over us right now.
Just real quick.
Yeah. Any background sounds are legit. There's literally the waves crashing into the beach. We are on the island. Leaves are falling.
We are not making that up.
So back into the question. We were just talking about where you've been, but what about where would you like to go and people you'd like to work with? Any goals?
I definitely want to go internationally more, which is hard though. A, because I'm scared of flying, but B, because I certainly can't really afford an international flight for the most part.
Right.
Or not just like, off the cuff can't afford it. Unless, here, I didn't want to land it because I didn't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, okay.
You're like, Jesus.
So going about goals?
But definitely that. Like, there's a really nice, like, amount of shooting to do in Paris, obviously, in places like that. I've just never gotten to see before, and I would love to, like, add that to the itinerary, getting to see all, like, the, like, culture around there.
Exotic locations.
I'm sick of America, honestly. Like, there's places I want to go in America, too, but a lot of them are not necessarily model-affiliated.
Yeah.
Well, but those are the trips where I'll plan modeling around, like, that kind of shit.
Just to see the city itself.
Yeah. Or I want, like, I want to see a lot of, like, forest stuff in the northwest of, like, the U.S. and stuff. And the southwest, frankly, but not so much forest there. A little bit more petrified.
Because you guys don't mind roughing it, doing some camping, doing some...
No, not at all. And we actually want to turn the back of my truck into like a bed. Like, do, like, a little platform of plywood. basically.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So, like, it would be really easy to, like, travel. Because I would sleep in the car easily. I don't require much maintenance.
No. It would be easy.
Yeah.
And what about photographers you'd like to work with? Are you a fan of, like, Terry Richards and David LaChapelle?
Definitely David LaChapelle. Terry Richardson, I have a hard time with. I find some of his work interesting, but for the most part, I'm sick of the white wall, flat, colored
You have
concept.
no desire to be a part of that.
Yeah, not really. And I hear he's not exactly, like, the worst guy in the world. In terms of being, for lack of a better word, molesty. But I think most models get put in that situation with him, and I just wouldn't even want to put that there.
What about David Kern? Are you interested in working with him?
Actually, yeah, I've, like, had contacted Kern before. Or Richard Kern, do you mean?
Sorry.
Yeah,
yes,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, wait, yeah, because he's affiliated with the Vice. He doesn't like tattoos very much.
Oh, okay.
So, it's all very, like, situational with people like that. I'm trying to think of it, like, a big... Like, the people I'm obsessed with and would, like, love to be photographed by would be, like, David Bellamere, or, like, Jock Sturges, or David Hamilton, and, like, those are the... on, like, Tumblr, there's always, like, just pretty, like, muted colors, girls lounging about, like, in a sunny room kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely oversimplifying. And then, you know, you can get super dreamy and be like, Mario Testino, and that'll never happen.
Right. And are you interested in, like, going overseas even further to, like, Japan? I know there's a big modeling scene there as well.
I actually am, frankly, because I think I'd be a bit of an anomaly there with my whole overall look. I think I could do really well, possibly.
Has there been any mention from people there? Are you
Not there. There was, like, a South Korean guy, and I honestly don't know much about South Korea, but of course everyone's like, North Korea, and then, yeah.
Right.
So there's, like, the opportunity a little bit.
Yeah, there's some shit going on over there right now.
I mean, Vaughn was just there. She came back alive and had a really great time, it looked like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about joining Tumblr was a big part of your boom. So how do you feel about, you know, the Tumblr community and how that's been a part of your career?
I love Tumblr as a social networking site, and I wish I knew about it earlier in my life, frankly, because it's like a...
It really wasn't around that much
Well,
earlier.
when was it
Wasn't
established?
Like 2007 or something?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'd say 2006 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have known about it. I was pretty lame.
Same.
But I always felt like a longing for an internet community, I guess, because I'm not the type to socialize in real life very much with a large group of people. But on the internet, you can find, like, a mass acceptance and just, like, more easily, I don't know, to say acceptance again, but accept, like, yourself and it and stuff. So...
Getting to see people who, you know, feel the same, think the same, look the same, want the same.
Yeah. All that stuff, definitely. And Tumblr was definitely like that. And there's just so many different, like, communities within it, and subcultures and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, not only was there modeling, there's, like, huge fetish and, like, BDSM stuff, which you'd previously have to, like, search for, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I found that,
did, yeah.
Yeah, I found that did a lot for me as well. Just, like, understanding how many people actually, you know, are into, you know, kinky and rough sex and that sort of stuff.
And I'm not really weird, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was just such a huge eye-opening thing. A lot of us are unsure about those boundaries, and other people are being into it, and without discussing it, it's hard to figure out. But I find with sexuality, a lot of it is just you run with the chemistry you have with someone. It's not necessarily a discussion that you have about your kinks.
Yeah. Although the internet is good for said discussions.
Yeah.
Right, so you feel like people are discussing it online before they
because-
even meet sometimes.
Oh, I know that's what I do, like, or what
You
we
have
would
to.
do. Or that's part of getting to know people with me, though, in general. It's like getting to know...
Because a lot of the people you're discussing with aren't in your town.
Yeah, for sure. We don't really... I mean, we definitely have friends locally, but I have more friends, I think, that don't live within a 100-mile radius of me. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet.
And how did it go between the two of you, realizing your own kinks? Was it a discussion, or do you remember it being just like a chemistry that happened?
I know we were both, like... I think it was more chemistry, because we both knew we were into, like, rough sex and stuff. But I don't think either of us necessarily knew about the subculture when we first got back
when
together.
we first, like,
Yeah, like, we didn't have, like, leashes and, like, collars and, like, a whole,
until, like,
BDSM
a couple
closet.
years into the relationship.
I find I get a lot of questions on the blog asking about how does it get started? Like, how do I start?
I don't know, because...
I think with us, like, actually finding, like, getting involved with, like, the master thing is how it got started. Because that opened up the discussion that, like, hey, like, I'm into this thing. Like, I'm into, like, it goes this far. Like, it's not that I just like being choked and spanked. I like
this
all this shit.
under this gambit.
Yeah.
So when you jumped into the submission subculture, you literally jumped in head first.
Pretty much. It was just like a, like...
Yeah, that's kind of how we, like...
It happened in the span of, like, a month, basically.
That's how we go about things anyways, really.
Yeah, in life.
So if we're going to get into the master thing, I feel like you'd need to give us, like, a general explanation of that lifestyle.
That whole thing. And, like, personally or, like, over?
Just, like, explain the lifestyle.
Well, it's not the same for everyone.
Right.
Like, given...
And you also can't speak as an expert either.
No,
I mean, no one is an expert on this shit.
Absolutely. So,
well, I feel like my master is, because he's been doing it for, like, 30 years. So.
Let me reiterate.
Yeah, no, but we're not at all. Like, we've only been involved in this subculture for, like, 3 years. Like, if that.
But it's such, like, there's so many different, like, outlets and, like, subcultures of subcultures.
So many different types of people.
Yeah.
Like, there's not just submissives. There's, like, littles. There's pet girls. There's, like,
sissies.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's, like, so much stuff.
And then not one thing can be used to explain another. Like, they're all completely different.
But in general, I like to call it more like a power exchange relationship is how I specify that type of thing, which can encompass, like, most of those things for overall, where there's a significant, like, obvious shift in power where, the dominant takes over and the submissive just lets go of everything and obeys or whatever. And that, generalizes the whole thing.
And is this something that, Brad, are you a part of it or you're not a part of it?
I am currently in the workings of obtaining a mistress. So, yeah, like, I'm also submissive. Like,
you're kind of a switch.
I'm kind of a switch, but
more...
but I'm definitely more submissive than anything.
I'm, like, full out, like, submissive, really.
Yeah.
Like, I struggle to be dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But...
Sexually. I'll like, bitch you out in our relationship. Like, fuck you, man. But
yeah, I know, right? I mean, if you live with someone...
Right.
Well, I'm definitely, like...
It's very different, yeah.
For the most part, I'd say I'm dominant in our relationship.
I guess. I mean, I just do what you tell me to make you happy.
Exactly, though. Like,
I don't really know what else. Gotta make your woman happy, right?
Sounds so terrible.
That's life.
Anyway, I don't know if I...
yeah, so... Yeah, I'm in the workings of obtaining a mistress. And, yeah, like, I'm submissive, and... I don't know.
Okay.
It's...
when I asked the question, I kind of meant it about the Can's master mistress. Are you involved with them, or are you separate from them?
For a long time, I did keep it separate, because at first... Because we had just started dating, and then... A couple months later,
It was like a month or two.
It was like a month or two later.
Yeah, later.
She found her her master found her, and like they started their relationship. So.
But I was like sneaky about it.
Yeah, you were sneaky about it at first, and I found out, and
then
I got pissed for like a month or two, but then I was like, whatever. But then for like a year, I just sort of like left it by itself. I really didn't talk about it at all.
Well, him and my master had not seen each other or spoken to each other actually verbally until a week ago.
Yeah, until like a couple weeks ago.
So,
wow,
you're pretty separate.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't even talk about it at all until like a year afterwards, because I just didn't. I don't know. I sort of distanced myself from it because I don't know if I was scared of it or it was just something I'd never experienced. Like I was new to it too.
Right.
So I didn't know how to react. But I mean, it all turned around in the end.
Have you
better for it?
Met other people in a similar situation or different situations?
We've met people in different situations. Definitely not similar.
I've never met actually like a master slave couple. I've met individually submissive girls
who are seeking like masters or like submissive men or seeking masters.
Or dominant men who are seeking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's getting too loud. Like a submissive. But everyone has different reasons.
Right, for sure. Okay, let's get back into Tumblr. So you make your Tumblr account, and then what are the blogs that you're finding, you're following that are giving you the more inspiration about your path? I
think, I already said, Chip and Nettie and stuff. But that started me finding other photographers who I forget who else I Who are we close to?
Who are we close
I mean,
to?
well, John, who's like opened up the whole Philly, and then
John Mayhem,
I've
Corn
always been close
Prescott.
with, and Corwin.
Corwin's a really cool guy.
How are you guys feeling about, I guess, like, to be topical with the big Tumblr Yahoo buy? How are you guys feeling about that? Is there any concern?
I don't think they're gonna mess it up, really.
I'm not concerned about it. I think it's going to be actually more beneficial to people who are attempting to make like a living, or
Off of
who
their
are
blog or
off of their
something,
blogs,
yeah.
or like off of Tumblr in general.
But some
Because
people
I
may
think-
say that the more exposure could be a bad thing.
I mean, yeah, but if you're a traveling model and you're trying to get exposure,
Oh,
more
damn, it's already
people
been 20 minutes.
viewing and stuff, and more people getting blogs and seeing these pictures, and that means more companies are going to be getting and seeing these pictures too. So, I mean, it's going to happen. So,
It's just about whether they're going to censor them or not.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think
I don't
you
think you
can.
could
I don't think you
censor
could.
at this
You
point.
can't censor Tumblr right now. It's too big. It
It's
was
gone
too
too
big
far,
an entity.
yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
can't.
so too.
I mean, how much of the Tumblr base would you lose if you were like, okay, no porn tomorrow?
Right.
Like 95%.
Because there'd just be
Yeah.
a new thing that rises up and everyone would switch.
Yeah, and then there would be I mean, someone.
And then Tumblr would change it, and then we'd all come back. And like,
Yeah.
that's exactly how it went with like Instagram and that stupid feed thing. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever.
Yeah,
saw
I didn't
that feed
switch,
thing
but I
happen.
remember that happening.
Really
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anything bad's gonna happen. Frankly,
No, I think only good's going to come of it. Frankly.
I don't even know. I bet nothing will change. It's just a name. And if they start changing shit, then
I mean, yeah,
everyone
if they
will-
start changing ship, everyone's going to jump ship and go to another.
or everyone will just
image
write an
blog
angry
website.
email, and literally the next day it'll be like, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, me.
Besides Tumblr, what's like your second favorite social media?
All I do is Tumblr and Instagram.
Yeah, that's all I have.
I used to like do this thing called I am on like this site that was called BM Ezine, like a body modification ezine, and like people like at Creation,
Right.
singer, but Owen Gray, whatever, and like Apollysis or Chuny Suicide were like on there, and like I was on there when I was like 17,
Okay.
and that was like my favorite site ever because it was like kind of Tumblr-esque, honestly,
Yeah,
in
it was
a really
kinda-
like rudimentary way, but
Yeah.
it was because there would like be different
Boards and
threads
for
and stuff.
discussion.
Yeah, and I was in like a mod porn one that was like modified people like obviously posting porn.
And it was
stuff,
like it was
but
like an outlet for you to like
Yeah.
like be an exhibitionist.
Yeah, that was like my first like one.
Yeah.
I missed that site. I like one,
Yeah.
but no. Besides Tumblr.
Mentioning Owen Gray, he's someone I've been really fascinated with as well. His image and the work that he does is really unique and
Yeah.
interesting. What's been your relationship or fandom or?
Definitely fandom, I would say, with him. I definitely like fangirl over him.
Right.
We like definitely have just talked a few times. Like we're not like super close or anything, very loosely. And I definitely used to send him like dirty pictures,
Right.
and like for sure, and like masturbation videos and shit. You know, you'd do that. You
For
like
sure.
trade that, and you'd just be like, yay. I thought he was. I mean, I still think he is so hot. But I remember when I was like 17, 18, I was just like, holy shit, this guy.
Yeah, for sure. It's like anytime he submits, it's like such an honor having someone actually in the industry
Yeah.
in such a unique way.
It's just so cool that it's him in the kink.com and such industry and stuff. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like people are definitely alternative in that, but I think he's the first person with like his like major black work and serious body modifications and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing something like not necessarily like mainstream, but it's just like really cool to see him in there
Yeah.
in scenes.
While we're on that topic, kink.com and the porn industry, you're focusing on the modeling side right now. Is there any interest in like crossing over or doing both? Or are you waiting or never? Or?
I think it's honestly probably never right now, but like I definitely would love to. Like I've thought about submitting myself to do like kink.com scenes. Like I would love to get to do training of O. But I would I would pick a specific master, but because there's one that I like love.
Right. Who's that?
I like now. Of course, I can't even like remember. Oh,
Right.
James Mogul.
Okay.
Duh. Yeah. He's like the best one. I don't know if you've ever seen like his.
I haven't watched very much training about it.
It's pretty well. His is like he's definitely the best master, but and there's like some other ones that I'd probably do. Like I would. Like ultimate fantasy would be to do Bound Gang Bang, honestly.
It seems so incredible.
Like
it's so amazing.
every time I see pictures from that or Public Disgrace,
Public Disgrace
like
just
I'm just
blows
like,
my
oh my god.
mind, you know?
Like there's one Public Disgrace with Krista Chaos. I don't know if you ever saw hers.
I don't remember.
It's at like a house party, and it's just like some of them are kind of weird because they're like out in the street, like in a construction
Right.
area, and you're like, ew.
Yeah.
But like it was just this house party, and it was like so intense and like awesome. And then they do their little interview after where they're like, that was a great
I know,
time. It just seems so
giddy.
great.
Every time I watch that too, I'm like, why aren't I a part of that world?
It's so, like,
I feel
awesome.
like-
I would love to do that,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to model a certain way or like present yourself a certain way, that like it's like it's hard to say this because it sounds like you're talking down about it, but I'm not at all because I'd love to do it. It's just like once there's a line that you cross, like certain people won't like want to buy your image or something,
Right.
something like
They
that.
just don't want to be affiliated with that.
Yeah, and
It's something they don't want to put their name next to.
And if I am still attempting to do some like high fashion stuff, which I am like trying to get more into and stuff because of my height and whatever, they wouldn't really like it wouldn't be a thing. Like I couldn't be hired, and an agency probably wouldn't represent me, honestly.
Right.
So I don't know. We have to see where my life goes.
Do you feel that you kind of walk a fine line though, because some of
Definitely.
the couple photos that you do and some of the other art photos that you've done,
Yeah. Are out there.
are crossing the line. Or,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Touching.
No,
it,
I
at
definitely think
least.
so. I think not necessarily. I think I've done a few images that I would consider pornographic, frankly, like just like outright, and it was like for that. Because if I'm going to make like a pornographic image, like I want to do, I did it.
For sure.
Like-
Do it
and there's a
right.
big
Yeah.
difference between it being with your partner and it being with someone you're working with.
Yeah, or something like that. Well, I've never done anything like that though. Like Brad's the only man I've ever posed with. Honestly,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so there's
yeah.
a big difference there.
Like the only pictures I've ever done model-wise though that were like out there were with Corwin, and one I've got like a cross in my ass, a flaming cross coming out of my butt. Well, he like whittled down the end of it and made it very smooth. It was great.
Right.
And then
So
there's like
sacrilegious.
several other ones where I'm like very like spread legged and like
Right.
and showing the
But he's
full
just someone
Monty.
you trust. Someone.
Yeah, and I feel like there's something about the way that Corin photographs also that like it's not like that wasn't that sexual to me in a way. Like it's definitely out there and like gratuitous, but there's something about like the imagery that he does that's not about that. Like
Can we
there's yeah.
just quickly explain who you're talking about?
Corwin is a Philadelphia-based photographer who does like series, and one was called The Journey to the End of Night.
Corwin was his last name.
Prescott. I'm sorry.
CorinPrescott.com.
Yeah. Corin Prescott, yeah, .tumblr.com or .blogspot. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
Just
Go on.
Google him.
Yeah, Google it. He's great. His girlfriend's super hot. But he does like he's been doing different series, and the one Journey into the End of Night is a super BDSM influenced one. For the, I mean, not every picture, but many of them are,
Yeah.
and involve rope work and like interesting perspective and like I don't know.
It was a cool series.
They're more of like a curiosity than like a picture,
work is-
a pornographic picture.
His work is fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very situational in that the ones that I like cross the line with, and a lot of them are my self shots, honestly, too, which I feel like is different when I'm the photographer.
Right. For sure. Right.
Maybe that's why. Like I avoid taking like crotch
I mean, it's
shots.
because you have the
and-
control
Right.
over the image.
Yeah,
So you,
yeah.
like, nothing is going to be put out there that you don't already approve of.
Yeah,
That doesn't get your final
when
say.
I take pictures.
Yeah.
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 We're kind of going off on a tangent.
So
sorry.
speaking of taking pictures of yourself, can you explain to me how you came across finding Submission Sunday, Nympho Ninjas, and us,
Yeah.
meeting up and getting to this point?
I think I started following Sheena, Disgusting Human, .tumblr.com, first, and she like had reblogged like a few pictures from you like in a row or something, and I was like looking for good porn blogs, like specifically at that
They're
point.
hard to find.
Because they are
Do you
hard
remember
to
if
find.
they were pictures of me or pictures just?
I
From
think
the
one
blog?
was a picture of you, and I don't know. Like I think it was the one from the front and your dick's out.
Okay. One of the racy ones.
yeah, it was a racy one, but yeah, I remember just going to the blog and being like, oh, this is actually like, if you can scroll through a few pages, that's like my test when I go to a
Right.
blog, and like you don't have music auto playing, like god damn it.
Yeah.
So I think I just started following you, and then I saw the Submission Sunday thing after a while, and I'm like a bit of an exhibitionist, so I think I sent you like a personal one that you didn't like even publish at first, because I was like, this is just for you, and was like cute about it. That was like a year ago, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And then we did like a real one for the first time, like only like a few months ago, like us two,
Yeah.
and it was like I thought that was like special. I don't know, I was excited about that.
Oh, I
That was
loved
cool.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
because that was like
amazing.
the first like really like graphic picture of us that
Right.
we've ever put anywhere.
It's just so like it's beautifully graphic.
Yeah, I like love that picture
Yeah,
so
me
much.
too. That's a
good
Honestly.
picture.
Yeah, it's one that you could frame and like have in your living room, even though
And
it's
yeah,
like
for some
complete
reason I just don't find
but-
it that like gratuitous
I know,
though.
I
Like
totally
it's just like
agree.
nice. It's
Yeah.
like colors. That's what I look at. You're like, Dick is like really pretty in it. Like,
Thank you.
it's true.
And then you submitted the photos from the window
Yeah.
during the window theme.
Yeah. For reflection.
Reflection.
Yeah, that
right,
was
right,
it.
Right.
I thought that one would be good. I literally like made Brad go outside. Like when we came home, I was like, "Stay out here," like, and I ran inside and was like, They're like it's fun to do those though, because especially when you do a theme, because then you like think on it and you want to do something outside the box.
Yeah.
So like you kind of overthink it, but then something like happens where you're just like, "Oh, I should take a picture here, or, like photograph this." I don't know.
And what about you, Brad? Did Cam show you ninjas? Did you know about it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you definitely showed me about it.
Yeah,
Like, definitely showed
we
it to
definitely
me.
tell each
You're
other
just like,
when we
there's a
find
good porn
blogs.
blog. Follow it. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
I don't know if like you knew about him necessarily.
No, I
until,
don't
like,
think so.
Yeah, I definitely just because like I remember I called you like Nympho Ninjas like out loud. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Keep going.
You can edit that out. Yeah, my bad, dude.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot.
So you told Brad, and then
Yeah.
Brad, have you checked? Like, do you check out Submission Sunday? Are you a fan?
Yeah, I have never submitted anything of myself. I don't
You've
know.
thought about it.
I thought
actually.
about it. I
You've,
just
like,
don't know why I
mentioned it.
never
Yeah.
do it. That's
Well, you don't have a webcam, so that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
makes
true.
things difficult
Yeah.
for you.
You've got a shirt now.
Yeah.
yeah. I have a shirt now,
I brought one out here.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
so I can take that,
You should.
and then
you
my
will do
wiener will
that.
be out, and then
Well, you like taking like selfies.
yeah,
He really does.
Sweet.
there you go, picture.
And have you checked out any ninja approved porn? Have you read any of the stories?
I have actually. I always try to look in the videos because they seem like they're more homemade and like less production. I mean, they definitely are more homemade, so that's why. I mean, for the most part, it seems like that. They'll be from like one camera angle,
Yeah.
and it's like a couple, and they just seem more intimate. Like it's better porn than you would find on like RedTube or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'd hope so. You know?
Yeah, you're like
'Cause
that's
it-
the goal.
Yeah, exactly. I take from those sites and I just kind of curate it as well and find the best stuff that I can.
I just know when I used to search for porn, it would be such a struggle.
It was so bad. There's those blogs that just either have like the worst images, or it's just like a wall of gifs.
I mean, going to literally actual porn sites.
oh yeah,
When you like try to search
I'd stopped
like
doing
keywords.
that when
Yeah.
fucking gifs came out.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because gifs are better than porn.
I'm interested in like your history with pornography. Like, discuss like your early ages. You're young. You're finding porn.
Oh, man.
You're on a dial-up computer.
I was so weird.
Oh, God.
First of all, what I used to do. Okay, there's this one German site or something called funpic.hu or something. Like that was the. It wasn't .com.
I used
it
to
was
go
.hu.
to the Hun. It was
I don't know what that
thehun.com.
is.
It was just like a.
Random image board
It
stuff.
wasn't even image boards. It was just like. It like said. It would say like I don't know, like dirty threesome, whatever, gang fuck,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. You were
Like,
watching
weird shit
videos,
like that.
you
You
Just
were
watching
watching.
pictures.
I didn't watch videos.
Yeah.
I was like watching
I was,
like
like,
pictures and
fucking
stuff.
10
Or, like
looking
looking
at porn.
pictures.
It
Or
was-
I would read like dirty comics.
It was gross.
And like that was my earliest stuff. And I would go in like AOL chat rooms all the time.
Yeah.
But I would pretend to be older, which is hilarious because I'd have
Everyone would do
I would have
that.
to pretend I was like 16.
You were
at
talking
least.
to you were talking to like other 12-year-olds. don't
Yeah,
worry.
I know, right? And we would all cyber.
Right.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
And
a-
you'd really be masturbating, talking to other people online.
Yeah, totally.
No video though.
Like
No,
no.
no.
It would be like
This is before the days of
parents'
webcams.
basement, huge dial-up computer,
13-year-old.
pants unbuttoned. Yeah, probably like 11 or 12 even.
Wow, that
honestly.
is crazy.
Well, I totally discovered. I don't know if it's like weird and gross to talk about how old you were when you learned how to masturbate, but like I knew at like 4
Like
that I was
6.
that I like was into that, or 5,
Wow.
something.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, right?
Maybe
As soon
you're
as it
fast in
starts to
America.
feel
Yeah.
good, like why
Yeah,
not figure
I
it
mean
out?
that's, and I think I just discovered it by accident.
Right.
kind of.
I remember
Well, you
the
have
same.
You have 3
I was
older
pretty
sisters,
young.
so
I never saw, like, I never
Or
walked
her.
in on a single one of
okay,
them
well,
masturbating.
that's good.
I never
that would
knew.
probably be horrific.
Yeah, it really would be. I barely saw them naked growing up, frankly. So that was all me. That was like all rolling over on my teddy bear at night one time.
Yeah.
Literally that. I still have that teddy bear.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yep.
Just grinding,
Yeah.
slow grinding.
I just remember downloading and waiting, like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
10 minutes to watch, like, a 1-minute video of just, like, some guy coming on a girl's face. And I was
Totally.
like, I don't know if that was worth it. Like, I'm not sure if...
On like Morpheus and like Kazaa. I don't know what you guys have here.
Right.
Downloading programs.
Yeah,
I would download like
Morpheus,
hentai.
Oh yeah.
I was all about the hentai.
Hentai was at like an early age, like on Newgrounds,
Ooh.
like back in the day.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Do you guys have like a favorite porn scene you've ever seen? Best one, go-to scene?
We have a
Well,
Sasha Grey one.
it used to be like our
this
favorite one. I think I would still like it. It's
Yeah.
like Sasha Grey and Danny Wilde, I want to say is his name.
It's something like that.
I think it's Danny Wilde.
Definitely Danny.
And it's called Rough Sex. Like, it's just called Rough Sex.
Yeah.
It's like, and like, it starts with like, you know, something super stupid like them playing pool and being like, like. But then it's good, and why it's so good is because Sasha Grey barely talks in it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so
we mentioned this yesterday. That you're not a fan of the talking,
the dirty
so
talk.
much, yeah.
Unless it's authentic.
Just shut up and take it.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Easy.
My favorite Sasha scene is like, I imagine it's a lot of people's favorite. It's the Sasha Grey James Dean scene.
Oh yeah.
Where he just like fucks her up against the
In the
edge
hallway
of the wall
or
in the
whatever.
hallway.
Yeah, and she's got like a tank top on. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
There's another dude involved in that, but their scenes are not. It's like a three-way thing actually.
Oh really?
And that's just a part of the video. I have the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And the other dude's not good. It's not
Right.
good.
I just remember when he holds her down, foot on chest,
Yeah.
hand on throat, hand rubbing her clit. It was just like,
This is it.
that's my favorite thing ever now.
Yeah. That James Dean's good, man.
Yeah.
He's really good. He knows what the ladies like,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's for sure. I saw a gif of him this morning. I guess he was like working with some new model or something, and she was feeling nervous, so he just like picks up a pillow and like puts it over them and start making out. It's like how they started the
Aw,
scene to like
that's
get
so
her to feel more
cute.
comfortable, right? Like,
Yeah.
what a fucking guy.
What a sweetheart.
I don't know if that's
What
just
a doll.
legend or a real thing.
No, he seems like he's legitimately like a really cool dude,
Yeah,
honestly.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even he's grossed out about the Farrah thing, so it's gotta be. He's a cool guy.
So,
Hey man, money's money.
Tell us about the submission that you're going to send in this week.
Well, first of all, I need to decide because I took like secret ones also.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just talk
Well,
about nothing
yeah.
not
In
secret.
general, well, is it like? Can I say that? Like, stay at your house?
Yeah, of course.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that after. Yeah, well, I stayed with Mr. Nympho Ninjas for two days. Well, me and Brad. And like, it seems like any time that like we're alone or mostly alone somewhere that has good natural light, I'll like take selfies.
Yeah.
Like get totally naked
Yeah.
and like take some self shots real quick, which is always on my laptop, and I always just like lean forward and hit it and like go hit a pose in like 3 seconds or whatever
Wow,
while
that
it counts down.
must be great practice.
It is. That's exactly what I think of it as,
Yeah.
honestly.
Vocab lessons.
That's another.
That's what you call it.
Yeah, when I do my self shots, yeah.
And what's vocab?
The reason I call them vocab lessons is
Gotta
because
teach the kids something.
Yeah, the titles are always like something that I hope people go look up.
Like a book.
Or no, it'll be like just like a term or like
Okay.
a
Like a medical term for like.
Yeah.
If like it's like her back, it'll be like
something about like
Yeah.
a spine or like some kind of disease or something like
Okay.
that.
like if you go
Cool.
back and check them and like look the word up, it has something to do with the picture.
Oh,
it
beautiful.
always
I've never
does.
noticed that. That's
Yeah.
really great, Cam.
And I just like that because you force people to learn something. So like,
If they choose.
Yeah.
well, if they choose to, and most of the time I feel like the words are interesting enough that you'd be like, what does that even mean? Like, so like I know I do that. Like if I don't know what a word means, I go look it up and then we'll read a whole
Yeah.
Wikipedia article on it. So like I hope I force
And
other
not
people
the
to
only
do that.
one that
Yeah, I
does
don't know. It's good to constantly learn new things. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, the point I was getting at was that while I went to work, you
Yeah.
shot
Yeah.
in my living room with,
Totally
with
got
the
naked.
beautiful lighting.
Yeah. And took
No, that
pictures in the
was
living
so
room.
funny.
Like really quick. I was all like, whew.
While you're watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I waited until you were out of the house. Like, just I don't know why that happened. I was just like, oh, we're alone now,
And then
like,
you took secret ones this morning.
Yeah.
In the bedroom.
you weren't even supposed to say it. It was supposed to be a surprise. Damn it! All right.
No one knows what they look like. So
right.
there you go.
That's nice. But no, you guys got the two best spots.
Yeah.
My living room light is gorgeous, and just my bedroom morning light is the
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
It was nice. I had to.
Yeah. No, that's good. Sweet. Well, wrapping things up, is there anything you want to promote, or your Instagram, your Tumblr, stuff you're working on?
Oh man, I guess my Tumblr is camdamage.tumblr.com, and on Instagram I am the camdamage because mine recently got deleted for a second time.
Actually, isn't it like the third?
I
I don't even know what it's getting deleted for anymore.
Well, whatever, it's fine. But you can go check that out there.
And Brad, what about you?
Yours is, yeah.
Exocannibalism sustains.tumblr.com.
Good luck
And
typing that one.
yeah,
out.
good luck.
Yeah.
Look it up. And it's also the same on Instagram.
Oh, also we have a couples blog.
Oh yeah, failed will saves.
failedwillsave.tumblr.com.
Failedwillsave.
Yeah.
.tumblr.com. I follow that one too. It's a great one.
It's not that much less, but still.
We're working on it.
What about any favorites or friends on Instagram, on Tumblr that you'd like to recommend to anyone who trusts your opinion?
I mean, I haven't mentioned Corin enough yet, so I guess make sure you check out Corin Prescott and his super gorgeous girlfriend Vaunt, or Nicole Vaunt is her model name. Oh man, I don't want to pick favorites. People get upset.
Yeah, for sure. That's fair.
And he was a local. So.
I already talked about them a ton, so like them.
Yeah.
And Hattie Watson, if you don't know her, she's fucking awesome. Adorable. Tattooed model.
And who's your favorite on Instagram?
Man, I don't know.
I really don't even spend that much time on Instagram.
I do. I think Derek Woods is my favorite Instagram because he posts pictures of his girlfriend's butt, Julie, and Juicy J is her Instagram, and Derek's is Derek T. Woods now, I think.
Eric Danielson's pretty cool too.
Yeah, he's really cool. Wait, I'm talking about Derek Woods.
Oh, sorry.
And he posts pictures of his girlfriend's butt, and they're fantastic. Because not only is he a photographer, but she is a great model, so they just take constantly good pictures. That's a good one to follow.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Great. And then I guess I want to talk to you too about. I gave you a bracelet while you were here as well. Have you been reading about it? How are you feeling about the growth of that possibility of people meeting together through the bracelet?
I think it's really interesting. Not only I don't know if anyone on the blog saw that post of a bunch of the bracelets together. I think it's really cool that not necessarily it's joining a club, but a little bit it feels like it's kind of like a membership card, and you're it's like an unspoken bond, I guess. It's what between people, because of you see someone wearing a Nympho Ninjas bracelet, you're gonna be like, oh shit, they know what's up, man, or I don't know. That's how I would feel.
That person
I would just
has great taste in porn.
Yeah, I would instantly feel
Right.
comfortable with that person. I think
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
or just know that they are open minded,
Yeah, right.
which is So
That's beautiful.
I think it's great that you're selling as many as you have, because that's a lot of people, or all around the world.
All around the world is a thing that really
is the
interests
cool
me.
thing.
I just never imagined it would reach the people that it has.
Yeah. Weren't you saying Bangladesh?
No, I don't
Or,
think that. Somewhere
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I was
We sold
thinking-
3 to Abu Dhabi. It was one guy who bought one for him and his 2 girlfriends. Probably.
Whatever, that's cool though.
Yeah, no, thanks, buddy. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. For sure. Great. Well, yeah, thanks so much for coming. I'm glad you're enjoying your time here in Toronto on the island, naked, doing the first ever Nympho Ninjas podcast. Hopefully there'll be more again. I don't know when, maybe next week, maybe in a month. But thanks for listening.
Every episode of the Nympho Ninja podcast will feature me reading one of my stories from my Real Sex, Real Life story collection. The first episode of the podcast features the story titled Fucking for the Sake of It, and it's also my first ever published story. It was featured in the issue 2 of the Up and Coming zine, which is a Toronto-based sex culture zine. And again, I apologize for any noises in the background. I'm sitting up on my roof. There may be some cars driving by, some neighbors doing some gardening and other background sounds, but just ignore them. You're getting a real taste of the neighborhood here. So here's the story. Fucking for the sake of it. I did not just want to come home and go to bed. After a long night at work, all I wanted was a way to relax. She texts me every couple weekends, asking for me to come and party with her. I usually find an excuse or a fair reason to not meet up. We first fucked nearly a year ago. It was in an alley about a week after I had my heart broken. A combination of the first taste of cocaine and meaningless sex was appealing then. I met up with her last night at a house party. I was too late to get to the bar where she was on time, but she bought me a beer, snuck it out, and brought it for me. We had fun dancing in the kitchen with a mix of old and new friends. We snuck off to smoke some cigarettes, and the whole time her eyes were begging me to kiss her. I held my ground, because I'm not that easy. After the party dwindled to less than a dozen, I told her that we should get going. and to go grab her jacket. She persisted that we should go to her house, because she had to work at noon the next day, and I had to work at 3:30. I thought the least I could do was go to her bed, and I realized that at her house, I could leave whenever I wanted. It's a bit harder to get someone else out of your bed. I'm normally against making out in cabs, but since our companionship was completely meaningless, I decided to toss that rule out the window. My hand was on her thigh, and she kissed at my neck, every time I turned away to ask her a question. When we got to her house, we smoked another cigarette together, sticking our heads out her bedroom window, watching the snow fall. After tossing the cigarette to the ground 2 floors beneath us, we noticed it was after 4 in the morning, and decided not to waste any more time. She laid back in my arms, and we made out a while. I explored her body with my hands. She was soft and smooth, and warmed me up nicely. I undid her pants and slid my hand in between her legs, happy to feel her already wet. She slid my sweater off my arms and lifted my shirt over my head, kissing again at my neck and my chest. I unclasped her bra and quickly pulled her shirt off and sucked in her tits. I squeezed them together and kissed her nipples hard and soft. She turned her hips and leaned into me, on her knees, raising her ass in the air, signaling me to pull her pants off. I obeyed, but left her thong on. She quickly slid it off and mounted me. She fumbled with my belt like most girls do, and I helped her undo my buttons to hurry up the process. She got up to turn the lights off, and I took off the rest of my clothes, and knelt on her bed, jerking off, waiting for her lips. She crawled to me and put my dick in her mouth. She has kept her appeal to me for a few reasons. 1, because she's very cute. Cute in the way that I could pick her up and put her in my pocket. She's sexy in the way that her eyes tell me she wants to fuck every time I see her. And most importantly, after my breakup, she swallowed my dick completely when I needed it the most. I grabbed her hair in my fist and started telling her how good her mouth felt. She pushed my dick down her throat and choked herself, gasping for breath. As she jerked me off, I told her to make my dick as wet as her pussy is. I pulled her knees to the side so I could play with her while my dick was in her mouth. I opened up her lips and slid 2 fingers inside, tilting them upwards and pulling her towards me. She moaned and moved her mouth faster up and down my cock. I grabbed her hips and pulled her higher on the bed and dived into her pussy, doing circles around her clit. She had both hands on me, holding just how I like to be. I jerked myself off again and sucked on her clit, making her squirm. I knelt back and told her to get a condom. She quickly jumped up, made her way to the dresser, where she opened a fresh box of condoms, telling me that they were a gift. A strange part of random sex is there is always the reminder of the person fucking other people. Either the box is open, meaning they have used them maybe recently, or the box is fresh, meaning they had to get a new one because they used all the other condoms. Either way, I think you have to be comfortable with fucking someone who's fucking somebody else. That's how you keep your heart out of it. She handed me the condom, and I grabbed her by the back of the head and pulled her onto my dick. I said that I wanted her to swallow me one more time before I fuck her. She obeyed, and I spit on my hand and rubbed it on my dick before sliding the condom on. She laid back and spread her legs like a book. Normally when I use that analogy, I picture one of my favorite books that I keep safe on my shelf. Last night felt more like a library rental than ever before. I slid myself inside her and held her close. I know we're not doing this for passion, and we're not doing this for intimacy. I don't bother looking in her eyes, but grab her ass and pull her close to me as I fuck her hard against the bed. She's got her nails in my back and breathes heavy in my ear, saying my name and meaning it. I take myself out and pull her legs to the side so she goes under her knees. She's a very nice ass, and I wanted a change of view. I spit on my hand and spread it on her pussy and entered her from behind. She arched her back and put both hands on her wall to push herself against me. I grabbed her hips and pulled her into me, watching her ass shake with each thrust. I pushed her shoulders down so her ass was high up in the air, then leaned my body into hers so she was flat in her stomach. I grabbed her hair to move it away from her face and smirked as she looked back at me. I wrapped my arm around her neck, placing her throat between my forearm and bicep. I pulled her back and kept driving myself into her. I took my dick out of her pussy and told her that I wanted her to fuck me. I laid down, and she quickly jumped on top, placing me back inside of her. I let her ride me, having control for a few minutes before I wanted to take it all back. She was so tiny it felt like nothing to hold her in my arms and thrust myself into her. I told her to kneel on my chest so that I could have all of her weight on my body. I squeezed her tight against me and fucked her as hard as I could. She swore and said she was going to come. She told me to come with her. I took her suggestion, and when her moans turned into screams, I relaxed and came hard enough for the whole experience to be worth it. She fell into my arms and rolled to my side, placing her on the bed. I was breathing heavy and told her my heart was beating fast. I thought about mentioning that it's been a while since I fucked, but I thought if she asked how long, 2 weeks might not seem like long enough. She said she wanted to get water and I needed to get rid of the condom, so she put on a t-shirt and I walked naked behind her to the bathroom. When I got back to the bedroom, it was after 5 in the morning. I finished the cup of water, crawled into bed. I told her I can't wait for Sunday. She asked why, and I told her because I'll be able to sleep in. She said, "Oh, me too." Then we paused, realizing that we'd be doing it separately, and that was the way I wanted it. She told me that we should high-five to celebrate our great sex. I slapped her hand and relaxed, thinking at least tonight I'll have a body to hold on to. So we started in my bed, and then we went to the island, and then went up to my roof, and now we're right back where it began, in Ninja's bed. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening. This is the conclusion to the first edition of the NN podcast. And again, the outro is brought to you by Ninja Shirts. Ninjashirts.bigcartel.com is where you can order your official Nympho Ninjas t-shirt, and you can be a bit more obvious about your dedication and your support and your fandom of the blog. Again, I'd really like to put forth that the profits raised from the t-shirt sales and the bracelets, go back into this blog, go back into getting more content, go back into me being able to dedicate my entire Sunday to posting submissions, be able to dedicate the time to make a podcast like this, be able to dedicate the time to give answers, to find more ninja-approved porn. And currently I'm trying to resave the money for a trip to San Francisco. I mentioned a while ago I got into a bit of a shitty fender bender incident during my trip out west, which I was basically bullied into having to pay the damages for some asshole's motorcycle. So that sent me back nearly $1,000, and now I'm just trying to regain that so I can go to San Francisco, meet some more of my ninja followers and also some other people I'm a fan of from the Tumblr community, and get to work with them. I'm hoping to do that in July, but of course depending on how sales go and how good I am at saving and how much I'm able to raise, it might be a bit later, but I'm hoping for July. So yeah, again, nnshop.bigcartel.com is where you can go to get your black belt bracelet and secretly show off about your blog, about this blog, about your fandom of the blog. And ninjashirts.bigcartel.com is where you can get the t-shirts. Thank you again so much for listening. Thank you to anyone who has bought the bracelet. Thank you for anyone who has bought the shirt. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you just for telling a friend. Thank you for submitting. Thanks for sharing the photos. Thanks for being so sweet. I really feel like I have the best followers in the world, and it's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to provide this content for you. So thank you so much. And who knows when the next episode will be, but based on the feedback of this one, I'll definitely let you know. Have a great Sunday.